parents, this is lesson number 23 in the blue book and B book, and we're doing Mumbo Jumbo in the lesson book, and we are doing the harmonic intervals in G position. This is page 20 in the technique book. So this week is just lesson and technique. Mumbo Jumbo, this is more practice. We're getting some practice this week, really focusing on those chords and making sure that our fingers are round. They're not going concave. We want to make sure they're playing close to their fingernails, that their fingers are up. Make sure that their wrists are up. That helps. Sometimes playing closer to the black keys helps them to get that wrist up and to make sure they're playing with round fingers. If they're not practicing this way at home, they can adjust for me at lesson. But as they go through the next few weeks and months and possibly, hopefully not years, they're going to be constantly coming back to piano lessons playing incorrectly. And when they have to play under stress, when they just have to sight read through something difficult and they have to play it right, that is not going to be what they are thinking about. Their brain is going to be focused on reading those notes and getting the right fingers, and their fingers are not going to be shaped the correct way. So that's why we want to form that habit. You want to form that habit so that they can just stop thinking about it. And it's much easier to correct it right now when the kids are willing to do it, when they're really little, than much later when it's much more difficult and they have way too much on their plate. So I know I kind of get on my soapbox on these videos a little bit to make sure that happens at home, but it's just so super important to get on their cases and just make sure that they're playing with round fingers and that they're not doing this when they play these notes. They have the strength. They can do this. These piano keys are not that hard to push down. They really can do this. So stay on top of that, and you will be so glad, because it's one of these things then once they do it, then you can forget about it. They're just going to automatically do it right, and it's one less thing. Okay, so here's Mumbo Jumbo. I'm just going to play it through for you. As you see, there's elephants here. It says mysteriously. So think about how that would sound in a song. It starts piano. 1, 2, 3, 4, flat. 1, 2, 3, 4. Play, 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 play. Another half note, switch hands. You're in G position here. B flat, C, G, D, D, C, B flat, C, B flat, A, G, G, back to G again. G, A, B flat, C, D, D, D. This is where it changes. A, B flat, C, B flat, A, G, G, and then take the repeat. Now, here's the tricky part here. You're playing the D 3 times. 1, 2, 3, A, which is your 4th finger, and then go back up to the 3rd finger, and the 2nd finger is on C. And notice that you also go back to the B flat here. It stays down, and then there's the A. All right, that's Mumbo Jumbo. They're gonna like this one. This one starts in a major, which is kind of happy sounding, and then it switches to the minor. So we're gonna start with B natural, which is the white key, and then we're gonna turn this chord into a flat. So it gives them a chance to work with their fingers a little bit, to feel what these harmonies feel like, what these chords feel like. We don't want their hands to be moving around the keyboard too much. They want a quiet hand while they play. Just have them focus, keeping their wrist in about the same place. Their hand will be going up and down, but they want to keep focusing on those round fingers and not have their hand move around too much. That way they don't have to worry about hitting the notes right. So we're going to start in fifths, fours, thirds, seconds, thirds, fours, fifths, 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 fourths, thirds, seconds, thirds. You can probably hear the difference. And then it continues. 1, 2, 3, and then back to this. 1, 2, and then as they're playing it, once they can do that, have them pay attention to where the mezzo fortes are and where the pianos are. That way, it's a little bit quieter where there's a harmony. Not a harmony. There's a little bit quieter where it turns into a minor. And then for the paperwork, I'm going to be giving you something to color so they can find the pictures and then color I don't know what that is, a rooster, I think. And then this, you want to say what the names of the notes are. We're still working on learning these names of these notes if they haven't done that yet. And then they're also asking them to draw the stems on. So just kind of pay attention to which side. Have them notice which side the stems go. Here they point up, here they point down. I'd like to have an arrow there. I wish they had done that in book A. And then down the bottom, it's basically the same thing. They need to know the names of the notes. It's not so, it tells you to point out the watch for changes in hand positions. Forget that. We want them just to learn what the names of the notes are, because once we get a few books into this, we're going to be forgetting about these hand positions. We're not going to be thinking about those anymore. It's sort of like when the stems point up or down. Eventually we forget about that rule about pointing up is the right hand, because we break it. Look, that one's broken right there. It's in the bass clef, and we've broken that rule right there. We break it right away. So don't worry so much about teaching them the names in the positions. Really, we just want to know what these things are, so that they can say what the names of the notes are on the staff, so they can identify them quickly. All right, that's it for this week.